Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dazzling Dave, and this is your match preview for our team, Wolverhampton Wanderers, facing off against fellow Premier League side Crystal Palace at Molineux in the third round of this season's FA Cup. So in this preview, we've also got a little bit of a transfer news that we need to talk about as well ahead of this one. And I say it's the FA Cup third round against Crystal Palace. Wolves for the second year in a row drawing a Premier League side. Obviously the year before last we went all the way to the semi-final, that FA Cup heartbreak against Watford. We don't want to go over that, do we? Last year we fell at the first hurdle against Manchester United, and this year we've got Crystal Palace. It's a tough fixture, Premier League side, but we're at home. And Wolves did really well in the league recently, didn't we, against Palace? In fact, we've had a very good recent record against Palace. I think we've only lost one of the last 7, and they don't travel very well to Molineux. Wolves have only lost 1 out of 7 Premier League fixtures at Molineux this year. But there is obviously going to be a lot of speculation around what team Nuno is going to be putting out. We also have on this one my dad, Magic Moss, and a friend giving his thoughts ahead of the game, and we've also got Palace fan Alex from All Things Palace giving the Crystal Palace view ahead of this one as well. So in terms of the team, some interesting speculation as we talked about on the podcast. If you haven't watched that, I'll put it on the end with me, Manny, Amy and Kev about the January transfer window. And Patrick Catroni came up, and I think there was a bit of debate about whether Wolves would bring him back in, and showed us the picture of Catroni with the gold and black balloons behind him, as you can see here. And the news dropped yesterday that Wolves were actually recalling him back to work with us for the rest of the season. Nuno's talked about him today. Catroni himself put an Instagram out about the pasta master being back, and if only we could be at the stadium thinking he loves the pizza and he loves the pasta, that'd be great. Interestingly as well, Morgan Gibbs-White, homegrown boy, was loaned out to Swansea, did really well in the Championship for them, got injured. He's also been recalled back training with the squad. And we know that Dendoncker is back training with the squad. So what team will Nuno go with? The chances are he'll start with Ruddy in goal. But personally, I want him to go as strong as possible. I love Ruddy, but seeing him in the League Cup with not much match practice, he did make mistakes, and I worry about that. So I would prefer to start this season with Patricio, but it seems like it'll probably be Ruddy because that's what's happened in the Cup, but you never know. Wouldn't be surprised to see the starting 4 at the back again. I still expect Cody to start. You might see that Kilman comes in. Ait-Nouri is definitely probably going to start. We know Marcel's out. Hoover I would expect to start on the right hand side. He did really well. Quite like him. In the middle, be interesting. If Dendoncker is fit, would he start? Will it be Otasoe alongside Neves? I'm not sure whether Matinho will start. And then you're looking up front, aren't you? I wouldn't be surprised to see again Silva start. We know Daniel Pedance is out. Traore I think should start, and Neto. I would imagine if Catroni's back, him and Gibbs-White, he might be on the bench, but you can see that Gibbs-White and Catroni might fit better into that system. Gibbs-White, for example, could just be played behind, in my opinion, the front striker, just in the centre of those 3. That would be quite an interesting option. And of course, Catroni could come on and play up top. Whether or not they go straight into the side or not is to be seen. Wolves had a lot of youngsters on the bench. We do need to strengthen, but Wolves' initial arm in the transfer window is to bring both Gibbs-White and Catroni back. What do you feel about that? What do you think it bodes for the rest of the transfer window? Before I go on to my score prediction, let's go over to Alex from All Things Palace to get the Palace view, and then we'll come back and get my dad's view, Magic Moss.
Hey Dave, it's Alex from All Things Palace here. Hope you're well, mate. Just looking ahead to our side's clash at the FA Cup at the weekend, I wouldn't really expect a great deal from a Palace perspective in terms of difficulty. Big bit of news we've had lately. We've just lost Jeff Schlipp for 3 months due to a hamstring injury, which really comes as a major blow for us. if you just want a little fact that underlines his importance to this Palace side, a little fact I learnt the other day was that only between the posts and at right back are the positions he hasn't featured for Palace at. So he can clearly feature in a variety of capacities, and I was expecting him to have a leading role against Wolves were it not for his strain against Sheffield. It's definitely a major blow, but in terms of a possible Palace lineup, I would really expect rotation to be the dominant theme of the game. So I'm expecting Jack Butland to make his Palace debut and give GYRPAH a bit of a rest after a very congested fixture period, making his return to the top flights, or certainly for a top flight side since being relegated for Stoke. Defensively, though, we're only really short of Gary Cahill, which again, he's a quality player for us, but we have plenty of depth in that position. We're well stocked, so I'm expecting a partnership of Sacco on the left and Dan on the right. Whilst the likes of Gyro Riedewald and James McCarthy could probably start in the middle of the park, having really failed to rack up serious minutes lately. For the same reason, up top it has to be Ayew and Batshuayi for me. But because of Schlupp's injury, we're thin on the wings, which is where I think the big guns of Eze and Zaha could come out. We simply don't have the depth there, so I think one of those players will have to start, and I don't think Roy's one to give faith to the kids exactly, so I would expect to see a more familiar face definitely coming out there. I'm anticipating it to be a fierce and hotly contested fixture, but honestly, from a Palace perspective, we're really focused on the league here. I hate to say it, but the FA Cup feels almost secondary to me, as I'm sure it does for most Palace fans. We're still in it to win it. We very much want to take the fight to Wolves, but I'm really not anticipating a huge battle from us. I think we'll play our more rotational, peripheral options, but it should be a good game. I've got a lot of time for Wolves. Their manager, their tactics, their recruitment, it's all superb. So I just have this nasty feeling that we'll be outclassed in typical Palace pessimism from me. So I'm predicting a 2 or 3-0 loss. I'm going to stick to 2-0 because I don't think we'll defend awfully, but that's my prediction for the Wolves game.
Thanks ever so much, Alex, for your contribution. Much appreciated. Now, let's switch over to see my dad, Magic Moss, and a friend, and his thoughts. So, hey, Dad, good to see you. How are you feeling? How are you and Mom?
Fine, Davey, fine, yes.
And we're going to talk about the Crystal Palace FA Cup match. Obviously, if you watch the channel and you watch me and Magic Moss regularly, you know that my dad... You're 83 now, aren't you, Dad? Who's that?
That's Derek.
Hello, Derek.
Sydney ain't very well.
Sydney's not very well again. Oh, dear.
Yeah, he's upset about the match.
Okay, well, let's focus on the game for a second. I say the FA Cup final is your long-term dream for me and you to go to an FA Cup final. Sing abide with me. Hopefully, if we got to the final, you never know. By May, we might be able to do that. But Dad, that's your big dream. What are you thinking about the cup match against Palace? On BT Sport, it is Friday night under the Molineux lights. How are you feeling about it?
I'll tell you this: the Wolves are missing the crowd, I think, but I think they'll win anyway.
I think you're absolutely right. I think we're all missing Molineux as well, aren't we now, Dad? It's been 10 months since we went.
The crowd is, I think it gets them going more myself, but they've got to get a bit of bottle in them, and I think they'll beat Crystal Palace.
And have you got a score prediction, Dad?
2-0.
And who's going to score the goals? What do you and Derek think's going to score?
Well, we've got to have Pedro Neto, ain't we?
Pedro Neto, yeah.
And I think Traore.
Traore. Obviously, your main man, Bonanza's out injured.
Yeah. It's a shame that he's a great player.
He is.
And I think he'll be better, do you think Coltrane will play or what? The Coltrane.
Coltrane, Dad, you're brilliant, you are. You mean he loves the pizza, you loves the pasta, he eats blooming magic. You mean Patrick Catrone, Coltrane?
Yeah, that's it, not Coltrane. Oh, my. Coltrane.
Dad, I don't know, because we bought back Morgan Gibbs White as well. He's only just come back. How much he's trained, I don't know. Maybe he'll be in the squad. I don't know. Would be interesting to see. I think he might be in the squad. So you never know. He might come on. Are you glad? Are you glad we've brought Morgan and Coltrane back?
Yeah, they should do all that with Coltrane. Yeah.
All right, let's hope he scores a hat-trick against the Baggies and he'll be a hero. So there you have it. So you're going 2-0, Dad?
2-0, yeah.
And you're reckoning Neto and Torre, or i.e. Traore?
Traore, yeah.
All right, and so thanks for joining us, and we look forward to hopefully the game. And Derek's obviously excited to be on the channel.
He's really excited.
Yeah, I could tell, Dad. He's
FA Cup, yeah.
Fantastic. Love you, Dad. Always Wolves.
Look after yourself.
And you. My dad, thanks ever so much. We got him to tilt the camera this year, so we got him full screen, which was a first, and he managed to do it, so I'm quite impressed. So I'm quite positive going into the game. Like I say, I hope that Nuno goes as strong as possible. I think he will. I know we've got lots of injuries. We do desperately want a cup run. We need a victory. Looking at what Alex from All Things Palace said, there might be a few changes for Palace and a lot of rotation with them. Wolves at home, good recent record. You'd hope that Wolves will win. I'm going to go for a 2-0. It could even be 3-0 because we did play well against them last time. Victory. They have got danger depending on who they obviously start up front with. They've got dangerous offensive players. But hopefully Wolves can go out and win this one and get through to the next round, please. Because that gives us something to look forward to. Obviously, with the prospect of Wolves this season in transition, looking around about the mid-table finish. So not much to aim for unless we go on a bit of a run. But the FA Cup would be fantastic. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And of course, check the link at the end and make sure that you put it in your schedule for the live show, the live watch along for the Palace game Friday night from 7:30. Until then, I'm Dazzling Dave, always Wolves.